What's going on, everybody? Another video provided by Dick Lovett in Bristol, and today we're taking out this BMW K1600 GT. No talking, let's just get on and ride it. Today was not meant to be a wet one. As you can tell, I am on the all black version of the K1600. There are going to be two other colour variants. It's going to be the grey and then the traditional BMW it's a new one, red, white and blue. Black is the base colour, and you are going to pay a little bit more for the grey and the red, white and blue, so it's up to you. I think it looks really nice in the traditional BMW colours, but if cost is something that concerns you about this bike isn't cheap, so it is one way of keeping the cost down a little bit. This bike is going to come in at £21,100. My only concern with that price is last night I was on the BMW configurator and I added on the tour package, added on the comfort package, and it ended up at £24,500. It isn't cheap, so the question is it worth it? Let's start off by looking at the engine in this motorcycle. 1649cc, pumping out 160 brake horsepower, but more impressively this has 180 newton meters of torque. But I always see the difference between horsepower and torque. The higher the horsepower, the quicker it goes, the quicker it gets you there. The higher the torque, the more fun it is getting you there. It's going to be that low in the rev range grunt that's really going to pull you through to that top speed. When you're off the bike and looking at it, it is big. 345 kilos, kind of big. It's got a wide stance, it's long, it's got the bags on the back, and it's got the weight to stick behind it. And that is about as far as the weight for this bike goes and how it affects you. As soon as you jump on it, you notice that actually it flicks really nicely from side to side. For a bike of its size, low speed handling, on and off the throttle, really nice, really smooth. It's perfect for that touring bike, which is what it is designed for. This does come with a shift up and down, just like all the other BMWs I've ridden so far. It's spot on. Really buttery smooth up and down that gearbox. This being BMW's answer to a touring motorcycle, absolutely soaks up the bumps on these back roads. Electronic suspension, there's no need to worry about it or faff with it. Just let it do its thing and ride the bike the way it wants to be ridden. Helping us navigate these back roads is this huge 10.25 inch TFT screen. Couple that with BMW's rider app and you've got onboard full navigation screen, or if you want you can have just turn by turn. Me personally, I like seeing where I'm going, and with this you can either have it like I have here where it's on the full screen, or you can change it so the map is on the right hand side under where it says trip computer. But I'm not worried about seeing what rev I'm at. I've got my speed at the top left, I've got my gear indicator in the middle at the top, so having a big large sat nav screen there is perfect for me. I've got two main things to say about this screen. Firstly, it is fully electronic. On the handlebar switchgear on the left hand side, you've got this up and down button. Simple enough, hold down and it retracts all the way to the bottom, or hold all the way up and it will go all the way up. For the most wind protection, obviously you're going to have it all the way up. When it's in that position, for me, I'm 6'1", and it just sits perfectly in my eye line. The left and right hand edges of the screen are raised as well, so when you start going into the corners, it's exactly where you're looking. And it's really distracting, really off-putting, so then you lower it down so you can see, but then you start getting the buffeting on the helmet. It's kind of a catch-22. Maybe when you're on the motorway or long stretches of dual carriageway, whack it all the way up. I know it's a minor gripe with the screen. It's nice that it's electronic, it's nice that it's adjustable. I just don't like it where it sits at the uppermost position. This bike, as you can tell, does have a big old tank. It's going to cover some fair miles with a 26.5 litre tank. Probably going to be pushing around 300 odd miles, depending on how you ride, how much luggage you've got, and how heavy handed you are on that throttle. I am really impressed with its flickability and how it handles. It always is a concern when you look at the weight of a bike and you just think how it's going to handle. I can definitely let you know you ain't going to have any dramas handling this motorcycle at all. Let's move on to the electronics of this bike. As you can tell, there's going to be a few with a screen of that size. We do have 3 different rider modes coming in at rain, road and dynamic. Rain and road are exactly what you'd expect from a bike like this. Rain is just the throttle, it's just super smooth. No need to worry, it's going to catch you out. Road, we're starting to get a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more sporty, a little bit more on the throttle power. And then dynamic is going to be where you can make your adjustments and you can adjust throttle response and engine braking, traction control, different settings like that. That's all controlled with a little mode button on the right hand side. You just push it once, come off the throttle, give it a second and then accelerate away, and then it will move into the new mode. As we've come to know and expect, it does have LEDs all round, and you can add additional fog lights if you so wish. Where would we be on a tourer bike if we didn't have a cruise control? Left hand side, that's where you're going to activate it, turn it on. Once it's set, to then turn it off, any of the brakes, pull the clutch in or roll the throttle forward as well. Super smooth, 3rd gear, 29 miles an hour, and it just chomps it up, no dramas. Another personal favourite of mine, this bike comes with heated grips and heated seats. On some of the other BMW motorcycles, on the right hand side of the handlebar there is a heated grip button where you can just push that to rotate through the different settings. Unfortunately this bike doesn't have it. You've got 2 options. You can either go into the assist option in the settings, find the grips and then change your preference. So it's got settings 1 to 5, and the same with the heated seat. Or you can take a little bit of time like I did this morning, and on the left hand side we've got buttons 1 to 4, and those are your favourite buttons, and I've programmed each button to do a different thing. Button 1 is for the grips. You literally just push that button and it will just rotate through off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then back to off. Number 2, I've set that for the heated seat, exactly the same. Push it to keep cycling through the different heat levels. Number 3, I've set that to what's called pure ride. So as you saw then, my sat nav come off. If you're getting towards the twisties or something interesting or exciting, you want to kind of stop having any forms of distractions in front of you, push that button and it just minimises the on screen, goes back to the traditional rev counter and speedo. The brakes on this are really good. Always a concern with a bike that's got some weight behind it is, are the brakes going to be any good? And I definitely can confirm to you these will stop you whenever you need them. Front and back nice and sharp. You do feel the old rear brake pedal kind of coming up and down. I think that's the ABS kind of kicking in just to stop that rear wheel locking up. So 30 to 60, 2nd gear, dynamic, and there. That's pretty quick. Not sure you want and or need any more from a motorcycle, but then again it does have 1600 cc's with its impressive 6 cylinders. Been on this bike for over an hour now, and the stock seat is really comfortable. I've got no sore spots, no aches. I haven't felt the need to stop and jump off for a 5-minute leg stretch. This bike has got plenty of little cubby holes for you to put your phones in, your wallet, sunglasses, etc. Obviously we have got the 2 side bags at the back there. There's an electronic lock button up the front here on the right hand side. You push that and it will lock them electronically, and then if you want to get into them without a key, just push that button and it will release them. At the front here, up here, there is another little pocket. That's going to be for your phone. It does have a 12-volt socket inside. To use the integrated BMW Rider app, it does need to be connected to your phone. So just to make sure your phone is topped up at all times and doesn't die, whack it in there, put it on charge and then forget about it.
Here we are then, I've pulled over to do a little walk around, show you some of the extra bits on the bike, and then do a little sound test. These here are those 4 function buttons I was on about. 1 at the top, 4 at the bottom. Set them in the settings to whatever you want. Like I said, for me, 1 was the grips and 2 was the heated seat. Nice and easy rather than faffing around and getting into the settings of the bike. The heated seat button for that would just be for the rider. For the passenger, they've got their own little button on their seat. Up under here is the passenger heated seat button. Forward for level 1, back for level 2, and then in the middle to turn it off. Side bag central locking button there. Make sure that's deactivated. From here, you're just going to push here, this pops up, lift that up, and there we go, plenty of space. All the space you're going to need if you're going to go on a little tour. Here are the daytime running lights, really nice little feature. Nice to be seen during the daytime because the cars don't tend to see us on the best of times. And then at the bottom there, both sides, you've got the additional fog lights. Me personally, I'll leave them on as well. More lights, more chance of being seen. Extra cubby holes, same again, you're going to push that. And there you go, nice little space for your sunglasses or your wallet or your phone, whatever you need. If that way inclined as well, there is actually speakers on this model. At the front there, just connect your phone and then you can play music as you're going along. Okay then, so sound test of the BMW K1600 GT. To me, it definitely is lacking a little bit and there's a bit of a whine to the exhaust note. BMW do provide additional aquapovic slip-ons if you so wish. Obviously though, it's going to be an extra cost. That's most of the features now covered, so let's get back on the open road.
There's one loud horn. What are my overall thoughts on the BMW K1600 GT? Take it at face value, it's a touring motorcycle. It's got the comfort down to a T. Plenty of luggage space. This bike has a back rack ready if you want to put a top box on it. It's got all the little cubby holes on the bike just to make carrying things a little bit easier. It's got a big old fuel tank, plenty of miles in between stops, and the engine is super smooth. So if you are buying this bike to do any form of touring, you ain't going to be disappointed, that's for sure. This thing will definitely get you to the twisties over in Europe, but the real question is, are you going to have fun when you get there? This bike's comfortable, it's smooth, and you will enjoy the ride. Me personally, I need something that's got that little bit of extra fun to it. I'm not sure if I could really feel comfortable throwing this thing around in the corners. That may change with a bit more time on the seat, a bit more confidence in the bike, and after you've added on the tour package and the comfort pack, hitting in around 25 grand, it is a lot of money. I'm not sure if I could have this in my garage as the only bike, because I need something with more character. I want the fun out of the bike. But then BMW didn't make this to be an exhilarating ride. They made it to get you into Europe and just enjoy yourself. BMW, you've definitely hit the nail on the head when it comes to that side of this bike. But for me personally, it's not my cup of tea. I know Zoe will be pleased that there is not another bike that will be coming home with us. The amount of bikes I've done a test ride video on, gone back and put a deposit on, just perks of the job really, isn't it? And here we are putting back up outside Dick Lovett. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as always, ride safe.